No Further Information, a podcast for cops and Jeep owners. One time I was riding with a friend in his Jeep, and when he passed another Jeep, he gave the other driver that little two-finger wave. That friend was never heard from ever again, and his family thanked me for it. This episode is for cops. Today's guest is one of the sweetest, most lovable, and affable people I've ever met. He's also supremely intelligent, dedicated, hard-working, and for some reason, I just can't stop smiling when we talk. He's a brother from another mother because we look exactly alike. I mean, really, if you knew us in real life, it's indiscernible. We look exactly alike. I've always wondered what the fuck hospital cops do. You know, it's easy to pass judgment and claim that they don't do jack shit. Today, you'll hear me interview one and find out that they don't actually do jack shit. Let's listen to Officer Bob, a hospital cop from Dallas.
Hey, my name is Officer Bob. I'm a police officer in Dallas.
What was that? Was that your phone? Somebody's phone?
Father God, we ask right now for our children, Father God, that you just lift them up into your arms because the enemy's attacking them, Father.
We should leave that in. I was like all my shit talking, all these years of religion, it's happening. It's the fucking rapture. I was like, it's finally fucking happening. Take me now.
I don't know what the TikTok, man.
Yeah,
TikTok.
yeah.
So.
All right. So how do we know each other?
You were an instructor of mine when I started. I believe it was almost 5-6 years ago.
Yeah. It's been a while. It's been a minute.
While.
And this was post COVID, right? And like
Yep.
things were kind of starting to back up, right?
Yep.
Because I remember the masks and stuff like that.
Yep.
All right. So, I taught you for SFST, and then I wanted to talk to you before we get into DWIs. I wanted to talk to you about we had some interesting characters in our class,
To say the least.
and I sometimes when I teach, right? I teach and, I'm like, okay, the class is done. Then sometimes I teach and there's a student who I cannot believe was A, accepted to the academy, and B, will one day have a shield and a gun. Hopefully these people didn't. But what I found with my guest was I could look at him and go, can you fucking believe, do you fucking see what I'm seeing? And my guest got it. And so I really appreciated that about you. I think we connected with our other buddy, right?
Mm-hmm.
We connected really fast, and my guest got it. He understood. He's very intelligent, and I love these people. You know what you are? I love these people who's because I'm not this. I'm an asshole, but I'm like, I think I know what I'm doing, but I'm also an asshole. So that's like my irredemptive quality, right? All right, my producer's giving me a thumbs up. But with my guest, you are a combination of like personable, affable, easy, laid back, super, super kind, but at the same time, super smart and competent. And I really appreciate that about you. Have you found that to serve you in your job and your career?
I have. Absolutely. However, I believe it's a blessing and a curse at the same time, though.
Let's talk about the blessing. You're the diffuser. I feel like, right?
Absolutely.
So this is my citizen, and I'm like, listen, sir, you don't understand. Man, fuck you. I want another fucking cop. And here comes Officer Bob, and you're the diffuser, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man, let's take it down a notch, right? How's it bad? How's it bad for you?
I believe it comes bad because sometimes people can use your kindness for a weakness.
Absolutely.
And at that point in time, because they see you being so kind, then they feel that they can get over on you.
I could take
or
this.
Or they want to try you.
I could take this motherfucker.
Exactly.
Okay. Has that ever manifested itself where somebody fucked around and found out?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me
about it.
Real quick.
Yeah, because your kindness not only does it belie your I'm not saying you don't appear intelligent, but not only does your kindness belie your intelligence, it also belies your physical prowess because you ain't no small cat. You know, you're not some little pansy. So tell me about how, when somebody fucked around and found out.
We had a guy who we were dealing with. He comes in, he was drunk, whatever else. They play the role, one guy, I'm not talking to you. I've been drinking this and this and that. Clearly you've been drinking because we can smell the alcohol, from a mile away on you. Not to mention, you have a car full of open bottles and stuff like that too. So talking to him, doesn't want to talk to my partner. Comes to me, he'd rather would talk to me. So we started building this rapport. Talking to him, everything is good.
This is a traffic stop?
This was a traffic stop. Yeah. So everything's fine. Everything's good. Talking to him. He's lying. Of course, you can clearly tell he's lying. So
what's he lying about? How much he had to drink?
How much I had to drink. I haven't had anything to drink. Or we come from a party. I spilled some beer on me. So you're smelling the beer coming from my clothes and stuff. I'm like, oh, so the beer's coming from your clothes or from your breath?
Someone told me one time, they go, I didn't drink and no one spilled it on me. I was just at a party where people drank. So I asked him, I said, it's your contention that you were at this party where the smell of odor of alcoholic beverages permeated your clothing, and now I can smell it 3 hours later, right? Absolutely, sir. Okay. All right. So he's doing some fuckery.
So he's doing exactly. So he's doing some shady stuff, man. So talking to him and all this stuff. Clearly, we get out. My partners, start performing SFSTs on the guy. He's failing. He can't even stand straight up, at the very beginning. So you can clearly tell, okay, come on. So sitting there, he turns around. Oh, I don't want him to do it. I want him. I want
pointing
that guy
at you.
To do it. Pointing at me.
I want Officer Bob to do it.
I want Officer Bob to do it. I want this guy to do it. Okay.
And you're like, I've never been taught SFSTs. Yeah.
We play the game very well. So at this point, he's refusing to do it. It's like, okay, you're refusing to go out, do a blood draw or whatnot. So we'll go ahead and have the court judge fill out some paperwork. Right. We'll go this route, get ready to put the guy in some cuffs, ask the guy to turn around, lean forward, place some cuffs on the guy. Now he wants to get antsy with me.
That's the moment.
So at that point in time, he tries to turn around and flip, push me off of him and punch me. So he learned very quick.
He did get a hit. He got a hit on you?
He learned very quick.
Did he get a hit on you?
He got a good hit on me.
Okay.
He got a good hit on me.
You get one.
You got one.
I'm going to give you one.
You got one.
Then he found out.
But he found out. He found out in the ER for a couple of days, but he was okay.
Damn, Bob. Like it was just a turn signal. Fuck. Yeah, right.
He was okay.
Yeah. He'll, that's what I always used to tell APs. You'll be all right. Oh, you're twisting my arm. Well, don't fucking fight. You'll be all right. Yeah. You started this.
Yeah, I can tell him at the end of the day, man, these cuffs aren't meant for comfort.
Absolutely.
They're not meant for, they're too tight. I need you to. No, they're not meant for comfort. Yeah. If you want to be comfortable, you should have thought about what you were doing prior to you, being in this incident in this particular position right now. So.
And it's always, I always say, with the APs, especially intoxicated persons, they go through the 7 stages of grief in 3 minutes. Like, I'm really sorry. Fuck you cocksucker. Yeah, I did it. You know what? I didn't do it. What is that? Acceptance, anger, denial. They go through the 7 stages.
Yep.
All right. So you're talking about a DWI, and my feeling is that wasn't at your current job.
No.
So we're going to talk to our listeners, and this is important because you were at a different job when you first started, and that didn't go so well. I really want to. You and I we've talked, we've sat down for lunch, but we've never actually had the chance to talk about kind of. I need to get the fuck out of here. I'll tell our listeners that it's a municipality.
That's right.
In the middle of fucking nowhere.
Nowhere.
And so now we have this podunk. I'm gonna call it a podunk. Is that's fair?
That's
right?
Correct. That's correct.
What was your feeling there? I mean, did you enjoy it at first? Police work, getting into it.
So at first, yes, I could definitely say I enjoyed it.
You were proud, right?
You're proud of
everything you worked for.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's that new car feeling. You first get that brand new car. It's got the shiny wheels on it, and you've driven it for the next 6 months. Now you're like, oh shit, it's a regular car. I'm going to eat in this car. We don't want to eat in the car and all this stuff. So,
oh yeah,
it's that newness kind of starts to fall off, and you start kind of seeing what's beyond, I guess the veil and kind of what you're starting to see. You start seeing people who they are. You start seeing the assholes, the people, who can do no wrong, I guess you can say.
Well, it's also disparate treatment because Sam over here is doing whatever the fuckery he's up to, and then you get accused of the same thing, and there's disparate treatment. That's always been my biggest complaint Because I was always charged with, well, you want special treatment. I don't want special treatment.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to be treated the same as everybody else, and vice versa.
Sure.
So, did you find that to be an issue in your department?
Absolutely.
Okay. Were you not a good old boy?
Man, I'm going to be me regardless of wherever I go, and I'm not going to change, who I am, just because of somebody else, And I find that to be a case for a lot. You find out when especially some of the new officers after me who started coming, they would hang around and they started noticing the cliques.
Sure.
And they started joining the cliques. Right. And you had to be in the clique club to be a part of the clique activities, and which included, or not having to take this particular call. Right. I'm gonna send this officer to this call because I like this guy. I want him to chill out with me, or
I'm friendly with the dispatcher.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, is this race based?
I think it could be.
Yeah,
I think it could be
because
yeah.
Let's just say that clique over there were all Cambodians.
Sure.
And last I checked, you ain't Cambodian.
No.
Okay. No. And you feeling this pressure? Did it manifest itself in any direct way?
Oh, did it manifest itself? I think it did at some point in time. Mm-hmm. I try not to use the race card because so many people, especially in this profession, people from the outside use a race card on us all the time.
Right.
I want to talk to a black officer, or I want to talk to a white officer, or I'm not talking to this particular officer because, and then it's not even just a race card, it's a gender thing as well, too.
Right. Female to male.
Female to male or whatever.
You can't talk, you can't search me.
Absolutely.
Find out.
Yeah.
Cycling back to that for just a second, you said, I don't like to play the race card. I don't profess to speak for all black people,
sure,
but I'm also not white. My thing, it was always, I'm getting this treatment and I'm getting this inside me. I want to say, okay, surely this isn't race based, right? Like I want to believe that I'm not being discriminated against because of my race or my origin or my creed. But after a while, you're just left with a certain set of circumstances where you're like, what the F else could this be?
Yeah.
And I think that most intelligent, logical young black men do that, right? They're like, look, I don't think this is a race thing. I just think he's an But after being treated differently than every fucking other person, what other conclusion can you draw?
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Absolutely. That's fair.
Yeah. You're like, I'm not trying to play the race card, but Jesus, what the F else could it be? So this is I know the city. It's a good old boys system.
Yeah. And then when you see there's an issue going on and say you do a particular thing,
right,
and someone else does it, that's a different nationality, whatever else, good old boy, whatever else, do the exact same thing that you did. Oh, they sweep it up on the rug. You don't hear about it. Go ahead and do this. But when you do it, oh, you're catching paper.
Well, there's a former guest on this show who's Latino, who is at the same department and is literally going through the same thing. And so you have to start asking yourself, like, what's going on here?
Absolutely.
And it's for me, retired administrator, it starts at the top. You lead by example.
Absolutely. How
did you find yourself out of that department? Was it voluntarily?
It was voluntarily. So I got out. What really pushed me to just getting out, of course, there was some of that going on, but it was the cost of everything, especially with it being a small department. Small departments don't have the necessities that the larger departments have, which come with, the good insurances or
benefits,
the benefits wise and stuff like that. So that's really what really pushed me out of the department, outside of everything else that was going on too. I remember some of my instructors, kind of going back. I remember some of the instructors I had when I was in FTO phase. One particular instructor, I'll give an example of what he did. We were on a call and it really pissed me off and I had to walk away. There was no smoking, Of course, we all know
in the car
and all that stuff. We all know that some officers violate that policy, especially when you're heated or caught up in the moment. You may have a puff, whatever else, and then get outside the car and start smoking.
Okay,
I don't have a problem with that. That's all fine. What I do have a problem with is other officers pull up, the good old boys pull up.
Sure.
You get out and you're talking about the guy who we just got through dealing with. You're smoking a cigarette, and as you're smoking the cigarette and puffing the cigarette, you say, "Oh, this is how we burn these ends."
You're right. That's nice. That's nice. As you're sitting
there.
I'm
sitting there.
Right.
You throw the cigarette on the ground and you start stomping on the cigarette.
Oh my God. And this is within the last 5 years. This is not like 1943.
Absolutely.
The fucking balls. The balls. Your trainee is sitting right there.
Absolutely.
But that tells you we don't give a shit about you.
Oh no.
And there's nothing you could say or do to get like that would affect me. Right? Yeah, I just dropped the N-word. And there's nothing you can say or do that would,
And what really, that pissed me off, but what really pissed me off is there's someone else, black as well as, like me.
Mm-hmm.
He's over there too, and he's laughing about it.
Well, he's had to, so is it survival? Right?
I think it's survival, and I also think it's become, he's adapt. And I grew up in a time where people only get away with what you allow them to get away with.
100%.
So unless you say something to those people, they're going to continue to do the same thing, unless you make a stop to it and you stop it from happening. I
have a black friend. That's what this is. This is I have a black friend.
Absolutely.
There's no possible way I could be racist.
Absolutely.
Or what I said was racist.
There's nothing wrong with, he finds it amusing. So yeah, so it's fine. We can say it.
So we good old boys, we're dropping N-bombs. There's a black officer here who's totally fine with it.
Yeah.
Not to mention he's vying for his life,
yeah.
Or whatever his situation happens to be.
Yeah.
And now that's disheartening, but I know about your upbringing. You didn't grow up like poor or like, you had a good life, right? Why police work? You could have done, you have the world at your feet. You have means. You could have done anything. Your family, why police work?
So for me, I think it was growing up, I've always seen police officers in this particular light, as far as, or they're who you go to when you need anything, right. They're looked upon, the community loves them, and this and that. I had an issue, I think this was my freshman year of college or my senior year in high school. I can't remember which one.
Nobody's going to check.
I can't remember which one.
It's not like I'm going to bring his principal back. I'm like, you're fucking full of shit, Bob. Right? Our next guest is, principal.
But no, I got pulled over. Mm-hmm. I got pulled over in this small city, whatever.
Podunk, right? Yeah.
Podunk City. They pulled me over.
The one of 900 that are here in Texas.
Yes, the one of 900 that are here in Texas. He pulls me over. The officer asks me to step outside the car.
Why?
At my point exactly.
Why?
So after he pulls me outside the car, he says, I seen you place something, up under your seat.
No, you didn't. No,
you didn't see me do that.
You didn't.
Because number one, my windows were illegally tinted pretty dark. So
yeah.
That's number one. So
we'll get to that, but
yeah. So you're racially profiling me is what I was getting at.
100%.
You seen me driving, and then my nice car I was driving,
mm-hmm.
I'm 17 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, yeah, I'm driving a nice car.
There's no way a black person could drive a nice car.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You guys don't drive nice cars out here. And then you're asking me, who does the car belong to? Well, why is the car not in your name? Like, this is my father's, I'm 16, 17, 18 years old. My father bought the car. It's registered in his name. I'm driving the car. Right. He's gave the car to me, so of course it's probably not.
What's
my
the
name.
Fucking mystery?
Exactly.
Okay, so he's got you out of the car.
Gets me out of the car. He actually places me in cuffs. He detains me.
What the fuck?
Yeah, he places me in cuffs. Next thing you know, two cop cars arrive.
Right.
They
Here
pull up.
Right.
He tells me that they're going to search. They didn't even ask me. He says, we're going to search your car.
What's your probable cause?
So he says that he's seen me place something up under my seat to my car.
That's not sufficient probable cause. Every single one of us in this room is shaking our heads as soon as he said that, right?
Absolutely not. So then we're also living in a time at this point, there is no body cam. So
of course
it's his word against mine.
Right.
So it's complete bullshit. So at that point in time, I really got to a point I was like, man, I want to be a cop, but I don't want to be like this asshole. Because if this asshole is doing to this people, and he keeps continuing to do it to this type of person and racially profiling these people, who do we have to stand up, for the right? Who do we have to stand up to people who are doing wrong and knowing they're doing wrong? So why not me?
Well, let's make it very clear. Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, we need the police.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now that we all understand that we need the police, that we shouldn't abolish them, we have to step up and say, like, okay, that racist cocksucker who I hope fucking died of diabetes and got his foot cut off. It's probably what happened, right? Mm-hmm. Fat white guy, right? Let's we're done with him. Now
Mm-hmm.
let's step up and serve the people the way that they should be served, regardless of race, gender, color, you know. And so you stepped up to the mantle.
Absolutely.
And so you had a negative, this awful experience, and your mind is like, not fuck police work. You know, I can do any number of other things. Your ambition is, even at 17, is to say, okay, I'm gonna right the wrong. That's admirable and beautiful, and a lesson that could be learned from a lesson that a lot of people can learn from. Now that you're in your current position, I imagine that you're dealing with different call types than from a municipality. Can you tell our listeners what kind of premise you're assigned to?
It is a hospital premise.
Right. Yeah. So hospital police, you know, maybe you're not necessarily going to a lot of loud musics like we would in the municipality. How has your you know, police work changed?
I think more so, like I said, we're not having to deal with a lot of the aspect of things that you would, you know, see in the municipalities, but we do see a lot of things that go in the hospital. There's a lot of things that people don't see.
Right. In municipalities.
And then in municipalities, I feel like I have more of a call load now, you know, being in the hospital setting than I did in municipality.
To be fair, you were at a podunk.
Exactly.
So podunks, fewer calls were served.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, and a lot of the calls now, they're I guess you can say it's always more of a hands-on type environment that I'm having to do with now.
You usually have to go hands-on.
You know, I was speaking about this earlier. I've been in more hand-to-hand, you know, situations being in this setting than I ever have, you know, in a municipality.
Because it's a lot of mental health?
It's a lot of mental health. It's a lot of other officers who just want to drop, you know.
Is that right?
Drop people off because they don't want to deal with them anymore. So
okay, so it's funny, right? You were a city cop, and now you're on the other side, right? We city cops, we bitch about these fucking hospitals, right? We drop these fucking APOW, APOWs. You know, this is a mental health commitment. We believe a person is a danger to himself or others, and there's not enough time to get a warrant under 573 of the Health and Safety Code. We can bring the person to a mental health facility, or usually it's the hospital. And then what happens is, back in my day, is you'd literally, me, the city cop, we'd have to sit on them. So we'd always complain, this effing hospital has effing cops. Where the F are they? And then here they are. Now we can bring them to your hospital, not me, but, and we literally now is just drop them off. And you take over.
Absolutely.
But that is a kind of like we were saying in the beginning, a gift and a curse. Gift for us.
Yeah. It's a gift for y'all. Y'all get rid of them.
And,
you know?
But it's so easy, right? Just to write these folks off. And we had a guest in here who loves mental health calls, and is really good with dealing with them. If you do the minimum amount of work, the 65%, and just drop them off at, you know, a big city hospital, I'm done. I'm clear. 2-paragraph report, right? 573 APOW.
Yeah.
But if we just go that extra 22% and just find out, do you have some folks in the area that you know, so could the city level cops be doing better?
Absolutely. I think it becomes more of a time where people want to, you know, go to the next call. They want to get done with this, you know. The compassion, you know, of understanding is not there.
Down the tube.
And and then, you know, you got more people who would rather deal with, you know, a car chase from, you know, whatnot, dealing with something with more action.
We want dope. We want robberies.
Exactly.
We want domestics. Okay.
Exactly.
All right. So now I'm going to play devil's advocate for a second, and I'm going to say, well, Officer Bob, we ain't got time for that shit. We're understaffed. We have, you know, 10 priority ones holding. Okay, I get it. I think there's always time to be compassionate. There's always time to care just a little bit. But because if not, or not us, I'm not on the job anymore, but if not the police, then who?
Then who? That's the question.
Who's being brought? Who are you seeing more? Is it substance? A lot of substance?
Depression, you got, you know, substance. Lately, actually, we've been seeing a lot of chemical dependency.
Right.
You know, emergency detentions come in there, you know. kind of where I'm based out now, hospital I'm based out now is kind of a country town.
Mm-hmm.
So I see a lot of chemical dependency coming on, and they're high as hell.
How is that an APAL?
Oh, chemical dependency. So if a person is claiming, you know, or saying that this drug is making me feel this way or is making me react in this certain type of way, you know.
But see, that's not
mental health, though.
They're not a danger to themselves or others. They need treatment. And then, you know, okay, so you can bring them to a mental health, but it's 3:00 in the GD morning and I got 30 calls holding. Man, so the problem is compounding itself. And
Absolutely.
Then you guys are left to deal with it. Can you give me an example of a call that you've responded to that municipalities probably wouldn't?
Oh, that municipality probably wouldn't. I had a call, and I guess this can be maybe municipality based, but maybe not. They had a call.
Less likely.
Less likely. I had a call. The president of the hospital called us. He says, "Hey, there's somebody bathing outside of my window."
Okay.
So are you kidding? Like, what do you? I'm thinking he's joking. He's like, "No, seriously." He said, "There's some guy." So
the short version is you APAL'd the president.
So that's what I'm thinking myself. Right. I mean, he's clearly had too much work and too much coffee going on today. So we get there. Sure enough, there's this guy. He's blown up this portable, you know, little kid's tub. He has ice and water in the tub. He has his shades on. He has a little ducky floating,
like an inflatable pool.
Inflatable pool.
Right, yeah.
And he's butt ass naked in the pool. You know,
there's nothing wrong with that.
right in front of the president's office.
Sure.
And I asked, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm just bathing."
Not a care in the world.
Not a care in the world.
And how do you handle something
Not a care in the world. So talk to the guy. Clearly, you can tell that the guy was mentally, you know,
ill.
Mentally ill.
Illness,
yeah, there was a mental illness going on. No, that is not normal. So for you to think, and then my question was, number one, where'd you get all this damn water from? You know, I understand that you deal with this mental illness, but where'd you get this water from? This is a you know, a 3-foot pool almost.
The ingenuity.
Yeah, that's like, dang, that you're pretty smart. Outside of, you know, I understand that you're dealing with the mental illness, but dang, where'd you get all this water from? And where'd you get the rubber ducky from? You know.
Okay, let's break down the thought process. He had to buy the inflatable pool, the duck, the ice, the water, and then like assemble it all. He had time to blow this motherfucker up.
Yep.
He had time to put the ice in the water, shag his clothes. All right, so how do you handle this guy? Was he an APAL?
So we end up APALing the guy.
Is he a danger to himself or others? Can you sufficiently articulate that he's a danger to him?
It was a danger to himself or others based on what he was telling us. It's not a danger to be, you know, naked. I mean, yeah, we got public lewdness, so of course we can claim that.
I was going to say, you know, as opposed to just collaring him up, you know, hooking him up. But
we had that. But I mean, I guess being in the hospital, the last thing that we try to stray away from is arresting people because we know that we're dealing with people who are.
Tell me why that is. That's not the first time I've heard that from hospital cops.
I think it's more so being in an environment where we know people that are coming in, they have an illness going on, whether it's, you know, actually something wrong with them, you know, or there's something mentally wrong with them. So instead of trying to arrest these people and place these people in jail, we attempt to try to place these people in different rehabs or different facilities so they can actually specific to their needs, so they can get help and return back to the real world and, you know, be a decent citizen or whatever else they need to be, you know, compared to just as a municipality, like, oh, lock that piece of shit up, you know, and he does whatever he does. 3 or 4 weeks later, depending on what he does, he's out doing the exact same thing.
I mean, that's kind of what city cops are doing, right? They're making it the hospital's problem.
So they make it our problem. So
how often do you get arrests that originate from your jurisdiction? In other words, some criminal offense that occurs on property grounds and you have to hook them up for, you know, POM or something?
It actually happened a lot. Lately,
right?
We've been seeing a lot of people bringing in weapons. You know, and we've been hooking up a lot of people for
UCW,
you know, UCW, weapons and prohibited plays, the shooting that happened at the hospital, or whatever else. You know, they had that going on. So a lot of hospitals now are just on edge everywhere you go. You know, the staff's on edge. As soon as you see this person, or he fits a certain nationality, or he looks like he's a gangbanger, or he looks like, you know, he smokes meth, or he looks like whatever.
Right.
So they're automatically calling us to the scene. And sure enough, once we start doing some investigating, talk to the person, normally we always find something on that person. And we may not hook them up right then, but once they're discharged, we'll go ahead and hook them up.
Oh, interesting. So you allow them to get the medical
We'll allow them to
treatment.
get the medication. We'll allow them to get the treatment.
Allow them
There'll be someone
to get billed. Yeah. Well, that's so interesting. Okay, so let's bring this back. A patient comes into the ER. He fits or she fits a certain demographic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you're talking about, but it fits a certain demographic. Someone in the hospital administration says, "Get PD out here." You show up and you talk to them and you find, let's say, a TCIC, a warrant. Maybe you find some dope or gun. You confiscate that, let them get their treatment, and then you draw up. I mean, if they don't have an existing warrant, you get a warrant for the on-view offense and you hook them up.
Sure. So, actually, we have a load of warrants. So we already have warrants. So we can just go to our computer and just type up the warrants already ready to go.
And and what judge do you use? Like, I mean, you don't have to tell me the name, but I'm saying like the local city,
local city
county
judge.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Just rubber stamping them bitches.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're ready to go. Like it's like an Excel sheet. You just pick one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And you hook them up once after they get discharged.
Yes.
What do you think that I was joking about the insurance billing? What do you think is the mentality behind that? Is it like on its face, is the hospital saying, we want these people to get treated despite the fact that, do you think that's the approach maybe?
I do, but I also think that it comes down to, the laws when it comes to medical care, HIPAA violation or EMTALA. And when you start seeing these different laws and different things that these nurses and doctors have to abide by, they have rules and obligations just as we do with the penal code. There are certain things that, that we have to look for and they have to look for. And a lot of times, depending on the illness or depending on the situation that a person was going through, they won't discharge that patient. And even with going to a jail, if they're coming from a hospital facility, first thing they're going to ask is their discharge paperwork.
Right.
Has this person been cleared medically?
Cleared medically.
To come to the jail. If not, okay, take this person back, clear him, and then bring him back. So in order for us to go ahead and take this person down, depending on what they've done, we have to have that discharge paperwork, so we can actually take them to the jail so they can get processed.
Interesting. So you're kind of killing two birds with one stone because you're at the hospital.
Exactly.
Okay. Fair enough. Tell me about the last DWI you got. It was here, I'll tell the story. It was on the hospital grounds, right? Right by the water fountain. You noticed a vehicle in motion. You walked up to the car. Police officer, get out of the car. Put your feet together. Right? Is that how it went down?
Actually, no. So our jurisdiction, we could pull someone over on the street if we suspect, you're drinking and driving, whatever else. It's Article 14, right, of the CCP. So the hospital can't really say shit about that. Yes. But believe it, they will. It's politics.
They'll fuss at you if you make a on-view collar, not on hospital grounds, that you didn't have to make.
Yes.
What is the mentality? I'm trying to wrap my head. Like, okay, are you devoting your resources to a city problem? I mean, what is why wouldn't you, as the administrator, just say, you police, you got a shield, says police, go be police? Why, what is the mentality? I never understood that because I've heard it before.
I don't understand the mentality of that either. I mean, this is a battle that is just ongoing.
I mean, have you ever been placed in a predicament where you wanted to make an on-view arrest that wasn't on hospital grounds and you got kind of fussed at? Or have you ever been placed in that situation? Or do you know better?
No, but I think that it helps out a lot when you work for good people. And when you work for good sergeants and good captains, regardless of whatever you do, if they have your ass, they're going to allow you to do something. And if the shit hits the fan, they're going to come back and they're going to have your back.
No, I told him to do this. I told Bob to do this.
I told him to do that. So I'm taking the blame for it, which they're not going to say shit to this person,
Right.
So
doesn't this seem like the complete antithesis of the department you were at?
Yes.
Bosses that actually stand up for their cops.
Yes.
or at least, unilateral, equivocally.
Yes.
Okay. So, all right. That you didn't answer my question. Tell me about your DWI.
So, DWI, we got,
This is at current department?
this is the current department.
Oh, I'm excited. Hold on. I'm rubbing my nipples. Yeah. All right.
Ooh, yes. Come on.
Yeah. Earlier, before the mics heated up, we joked about this being a radio station. So now that you were about to tell this sexy story, we're going to turn it down. 105.7. It's the thunder. People in the know remember, it used to be it's not 105.7. It's 105.7. Yeah. All right. So tell me about your DWI on hospital grounds or near hospital grounds.
So I was actually coming from, getting fuel in the car, coming back getting fuel.
I'm familiar
See this
with
car,
gas and vehicles. You don't have
driving, no lights on. There's
your cue.
That's a clear sign. So
yeah.
you get behind the car and just kind of just follow them. It's going in the direction toward the hospital, so I can stay behind him for a while. So as you're watching the guy, you notice the guy kind of weaving in and out of the lane, not keeping in the lane. So this is going on for about a couple miles.
Where the fuck did you get gas? Jesus. Is there not a gas station near the hospital?
No, not at this particular hospital. It's not.
Listen,
I'm in a podunk town.
Listen to me. I've been on the job 15 years. I'm not fucking stupid. I know you didn't fucking go to get gas. I know what you did. You went to the gas station with the hot clerk, right? Or with the fucking, with the fucking taquitos that are gonna be fresh, right? I'm not fucking stupid.
It's the egg rolls.
Yeah. That's my motherfucking man. All right, so I'm not don't fucking play. Don't play a player, baby.
Hey, them 2 a.m. egg rolls, they come in clutch.
Don't fucking play a player, man. I wasn't bored yesterday.
So I'm like, damn, I gotta pull this car off and I got my egg rolls. They're gonna get cold. No.
Oh, I'll eat them bitches. Like, you want one? You want one? All right.
So we're going on, watching the car. He's weaving in and out of lanes. He gets into the hospital. We make the traffic stop.
Oh, is that right?
Okay. Yeah, we make the traffic stop in the hospital.
That was good. That was good coincidence, right?
Yeah, coincidence. So I got PC. Get the guy out the car.
I would
Actually, it was a lady.
Yeah.
Talk to the lady. Clearly we can tell that she's been drinking an alcoholic beverage.
You got a cover element.
Has a cover, cover. Person comes in.
You've already said I'm following possible DWI.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely. And they actually called the city police. They actually showed up too. Just because, and they're pretty quick out there.
I know that area, and it depends, right? Because that place does get busy.
In
that particular city gets busy. Right.
Yes. So they pull up. They're pretty quick on scene, which that was a blessing as well too. You know what you're dealing with. That time in the morning. So they come, get the girl out the car. After we found out she's been drinking. We asked her to step out. Start performing SFST.
Who did it?
The actual other officer did. The city officer did.
City.
So they're taking our word for it. And clearly you can see that this person's been drinking.
Right.
Performing SFST. They end up hooking her up. The car's on our property. So they say, well, the car's on your property, so you guys need to figure out what you're going to do with it. Either you're going to
start a record. So your hospital don't play that shit.
So, yeah. So we're quick to tow cars.
Who you telling?
Yeah, we're quick to tow cars.
I have had calls with people like, "Man, I got towed in a stolen car." I'm like, "Were you at this hospital?" I'm like,
yeah, we're quick. We're to tow your car. So
right.
Make sure you got insurance, and make sure you're not riding dirty.
Good
so,
fucking.
Yeah.
Okay, so I like that story. I imagine you don't get tons of DWIs at your current agency.
No.
You were engaged in business, and you could have turned a blind eye.
I could have.
You didn't know he was coming to the party.
Them egg rolls, they were looking real good and fresh. So
you got some dark sauce and the fucking sauce. So what was you drinking?
Had a Coke, man.
Yeah. Ooh, man, it's cold frost.
It's cold too. Yeah.
But instead, you did your duty.
Did my job. Yeah.
And you saved the life.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What's the best call or best arrest of your career that you consider the best arrest of your career with either department?
With either department, I have a thing. This was in my municipality.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I really think that gets to me is when people mess with children.
Okay.
And sexually assaulting children. That's one thing that there's no nice person. There's no in between. There's no playing Mr. Nice Guy. You did the shit, you know, you're going to deal with the shit that we're about to bring on you. And, you know, we've clearly caught you doing it. So there's no nice guy. There's nothing in between that, you know, that's going on. So, guy child molesting, you know, little 6-year-old girl.
What's the relationship?
Uncle. Uncle. Dad actually caught him.
Oh, okay.
Dad caught the person in the act.
And he didn't kill him?
Had the guy at gunpoint.
This is his brother.
This is his wife's brother.
Oh, this is the brother-in-law.
This is his wife's brother-in-law.
Yeah, I would have pulled the trigger.
So, no sympathy.
Yeah. No,
sympathy.
I'm not joking.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'll go to prison.
Yeah.
I'll happily, if I catch you.
Yeah.
In the midst.
And this is your daughter.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're my wife. Like, I have, like,
yeah.
I'm saying it on record.
Yeah.
On this very publicly available podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, so he catches him. He's got him at gunpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Then he calls the cops.
Was there?
I
think his wife actually called the cops. It wasn't him that had to call the cops.
Oh, sure.
She called saying that they're fighting. My brother and husband are fighting. She didn't tell us what they were fighting about once we got there.
What the fuck is that? Okay, I'm sorry. I have a problem with that. She knows what just happened.
She knows what's going on. She absolutely knows what's going on.
Why doesn't she say, you need to get this motherfucker now for molesting my daughter before I fucking kill him?
Yep.
Absolutely. So she's protecting the brother.
She's protecting the brother.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
She's protecting the brother.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm interrupting your story.
No, she's protecting the brother.
Jesus.
So, it was the whole...
Right.
The whole house was just fucked up. The whole scene was just fucked up.
I mean, it seems that dad, at least...
The dad has some common sense, and he was not. And then once we got there, you know, he tells us what happened. Right. You know, he's in the act. His daughter's crying. That's what woke him up.
Oh
you know,
God.
And he's lubing his daughter up. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
So,
was this continuous abuse? Had this? I'm sure, right?
I think once the detectives got it and they started looking more into it, I think this is something that was going on.
It has to be.
You know?
It has to be.
Yeah. So he was living there. He had been living there. They tried to say that he suffered a mental illness, which clearly you do. I mean, that's a mental illness for you to think it's okay to mess with a little.
Let's agree that you're fucked up in the head.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, right. That's not a defense.
No, that's not a defense.
So tell me a bit about your involvement or your shift's involvement.
My involvement, once we got there, you know, you're
responding to the 9/11 call.
Exactly. Okay, so we're code 3 all the way there. Right. You know, there's a person at gunpoint. There's a person with a gunpoint. Yeah. So we're code 3 all the way there. So once we get there, we don't know what's going on. All we know is there's someone that's at the gunpoint. You know, we're coming in. You know, guns out. You know, trying to figure out what's going on. Telling the person to come outside and all this stuff. So once we get the person out, we detain the father, you know, secure the gun, detain the father.
Understandably.
We're doing our job.
Yeah, understandably.
You know? We're doing our job. After gaining more information from the father, he starts telling us what's happening. He's crying, you know, and he starts becoming a little bit irate, just saying, you know, this is ridiculous and this and that. You know, I can't believe he would do this. My wife is doing this. He's been doing this, you know, for X amount of time. So I get it. You know, my response would probably be the exact same thing too. You know, so we ended up arresting the guy. You know, we took the little girl down. Of course, we had a SAN exam and stuff performed and stuff on her.
Oh, so, it had gotten to that point.
Yeah. There was actually penetration. So it was ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
And do you write it up?
Do I write it up?
Did you write it up?
My part, yes, I did. I mean, it was a big thing. So it was multiple officers who had to do paperwork on this whole incident. So it was a mess.
Makes you just want to.
It was a
makes
mess.
you go home and hug your fucking kids a little
Absolutely.
tighter. Have you had any other calls like that involving kids?
That was the only one, and like I said, that really pricked because it hits home. You know, when you start seeing this,
of course.
You know, I have a little girl too.
We both have daughters.
Yeah,
you know?
So you start seeing this, man. What would happen if
there would be no hesitation? Yeah. There would be no hesitation.
Yeah. And you black out, you know?
I'm sorry. And especially we carry, right?
Yeah.
You know, I walk in, I see that.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Automatically.
You know, when you have a situation like that, sometimes I feel helpless. I feel that I can write up the best report and I can do whatever it is. I'll metaphorically, from a criminal justice perspective, I'll nail this fucking guy to the wall.
Sure. Yeah.
But what have we fixed?
No.
He'll go to prison. Great.
Yeah.
You know, and hopefully get raped
Yeah.
himself. But how have we fit? Did you ever any follow-up contact?
No, me personally, I didn't have any follow-up contact. Of course, the detectives and stuff, once
Sure.
they did their job. So there's follow-up from that aspect of it. But me personally, no.
Is that conscious or just it's a matter of patrol, right? I mean, you're not calling them back.
Yeah.
Or anything.
Yeah. And I think that goes back to just being in the city and being on patrol. I mean, we so often can get into a place where it's just a call. We've seen it happen before, you know, so it becomes more of a routine.
1,000 domestics.
You know, what's the difference from the last one? Why should I take more care with this particular one compared to the one I dealt with, you know, the one 30 minutes ago?
Is that a dangerous trap to fall in?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I had this thought the other day, and just I'm watching some body camera for our case. I'm pointing at my producer that case, right, the tow truck case, and I'm like, a cop is a fucking asshole. Why does he have to talk to people like that? And I started like getting mad, right? Like this fucking douchebag beard and tattoos fucking guy with his shorts and his outer vest, right? Also, guys, stop wearing outer vests and shorts. Stop wearing outer carrier vests and shorts. You look like a fucking moron. Right, anyway, no, we shouldn't be wearing shorts. Period. Period. Okay. Yeah. All right. Unless you're a fucking bicycle cop.
Patrol.
Thank you. Yeah. Right. And I'm sorry. There's like 2 departments with fucking bicycle patrols. All right, anyway, one of my former guests wore shorts. I'm like, you gotta put some lotion on them legs, man. Ashy ass fucking knees. You're not coming. She worked for me. I'm like, you're not coming getting in my fucking squad car with them ashy knees.
Need you to lube up.
Need you to, girl. You're looking like chalk. We at least need you a little more like a Tootsie Roll, right? But trying to, and it's hard. I get it. It's difficult, man. You call. But we've got to individualize. We've got to make this personal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that the business?
That's the business.
Yeah. How is interacting in your hospital environment with hospital personnel and balancing the health needs of these patients against doing your job? I mean, have you ever been stopped from doing your job? You're nodding because
that happens more than you know, and I think it becomes more of, you guys work for the hospital or you're hospital police, so you're going to do what we tell you to do. And this includes some of the physicians and stuff like that. Right. I've had to go head to head with some of the physicians. Yeah. You're going to tell me about this guy's, he needs to be an APAL. I need an APAL done on this person ASAP. No, he doesn't. It doesn't meet the criteria for an APAL. So you're arguing with this physician. He's like, well, I've been in school X, Y, and Z, and you're going to tell me that I can't do my job, and I've been 8 years of such and such medical school. What do you have? What do you know? Well, unless it meets this particular criteria based on, the health and safety code, 573, I'm not going to APAL and risk my license because you want me to do X, Y, and Z.
Because you don't want to take care of this person.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what that is.
Absolutely.
Wow. And what is it? Isn't it? What's a Hippocratic oath? Do no harm. You're doing the thing that I just talked about, right? Yeah. The non-individualizing people. And you said you work for the hospital police. Oh, you got that second part right. I'm a cop first, and I'm bound by the law. I love that, right? That you take a stand and your bosses back you up and support you. Because what's douchebag going to do? He's going to complain, right? Yep. Oh, Officer Bob, okay, yeah, that's his job. That's what he's supposed to do. I love that. Yeah. I like that.
Absolutely. And then now, because I guess I've been promoted, so...
Ooh, you didn't tell me that.
Yeah, I didn't tell you that. Yeah.
So I'm not calling you Sarge.
I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum now, so I see things also in a political light too. Yeah, when it comes to having to deal with the staff, the security, as well as officers too. So there's 2 parts of this now.
When we were patrolmen, we bitched, right? Sarge, what the fuck? Fucking LT, fucking captain, fucking fuck. And then we get onto the side. We're like, oh, you're fucking killing me, Bob. Like, I kind of see where you're coming from, but And so you now have to balance it. That means something. I mean, because you're trying to still be Bob.
Exactly.
Officer Bob.
Exactly.
But there's shit at stake now.
But yeah, there's stuff at stake now. So I guess coming from an officer standpoint into, a supervisory role, I want to have the best interest for the officers, and I want them to do their job correctly. However, now there has to be a balance because I'm the mediator now between my officer and the staff and the administration side of things when they fuck up and do things differently.
Is it fair to say that you, hospital police administrator, you have this added pressure? Because I'm municipal administrator. I have pressure from what? The council, T-Cole, and, I don't know, the fucking mayor or whatever. You have like all these bodies, these regulatory bodies.
Yeah.
And so there's added pressure.
Yeah. There's been times where
you've got to get it right.
We had an issue where one of my officers, this guy was being a total dick. He's getting ready to criminally trespass the person. She starts pulling the card. Oh, I know the president. So he's actively working on a criminal trespass.
Like Barack? I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I have a dream. No.
Right. Let me tell you something. You can't return to this hospital, and I need you to sign here, and you're going to get a copy. And it's not bad, right?
Yeah,
it's not bad, right?
Seriously. So this person's working on this criminal trespass.
Can people be criminally trespassed from the hospital?
If you're not there for any type of medical or want to be seen, if you're just a visitor and you just come up there just to do whatever.
But okay, so all right, I'm here to visit my producer. He's in the hospital for penis reduction surgery. All right, and I came to visit him. I said reduction. All right, don't make that face. So I come in to visit him. I'm causing a fuss. Can you come and criminally?
Absolutely.
Okay, and you sign here. You can't return.
Absolutely.
But what if I need medical treatment?
So if you need medical, we can't refuse at that point in time.
Oh, okay.
Because that becomes a HIPAA or a Metallica violation.
That's what I was going to say, right?
Yeah.
So doesn't it? Not to be a dick, but doesn't that kind of cut the teeth of the CT of the
See, yeah, to a certain extent, yeah.
Right. That man,
so,
that must.
But we just make sure that you're not there just to see
right. I can't come
patient.
back up and start fuckery. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So I know the president.
So he pulls that car out of the president, this and that. So my officer's working on the criminal trespasses. He called the person calls the president. The president calls us.
They really do know the president.
He calls the president. The president was in Vegas. He's in Vegas.
Let's talk about that for a second.
So yeah, this person's in Vegas. He calls, our admin. They call him, leave him alone, let him go back there and do whatever he needs to do. So now we can't do our job because this person is causing a big fuss and a big ruckus, and the president has now gotten involved, which kind of rubbed us the wrong way too.
That is the wrong response.
So no backing from that standpoint of it.
That sucks.
So that was kind of hard too. So of course my officer, he's going on,
he's
kicking
livid.
things.
He's livid.
He's pissed off. And he had to go take a break. He had to go for a drive.
And here you are, Sergeant. 100% feel for him.
Absolutely.
100% on the cop side.
Absolutely.
President's a fucking douchebag, but that's when you put your hand on the officer's shoulder and say, son, you gotta let him go.
Yeah.
Man, that's tough, right?
Yeah.
Because when you were a PO, like I don't give a fuck, I'm gonna fucking do it anyway, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Do you get support from the president?
So we had a long conversation following that.
Yeah.
Following that, we had a long conversation which involved, some of our upper admin,
Right.
And we talked. We had a conversation. We talked about it.
That's a closed door conversation.
He agreed. Yeah, it's absolutely closed door. Absolutely closed door. So we're gonna talk. We're gonna be nice outside. But once we get behind this closed door,
you're not gonna subvert the authority of my officers. Number one, and number two, you pay me and them
to do a job,
to do a job and enforce, security and no breaches of the peace. Right. Absolutely. This fucking guy is breaching the motherfucking peace.
Yep.
All right. Well, hopefully that hasn't happened again.
So no, it hasn't happened again.
Come to an understanding.
It's come to understanding. We're all on good terms, and discussing on how we proceed going forward, and not to allow this happen.
Don't give me the fucking diplomatic PC bullshit, man. We told this motherfucker. You brought the president in, right? You closed the fucking door. All right. Listen, we got a fucking problem, all right? And then you hit him with the fucking phone, like 80s style.
I will say though, he did apologize. I guess he bought the whole crew some peace. I guess this is his way of softening the situation, I guess you can say.
What did Michael Scott say in The Office? He's like, black people like pizza. White people like pizza. Do black people like pizza? Yeah. So as we come to a close, all right. So you told me a little bit about DWI. You told me about your best collar. What is the most butthole clenching instance you've had in your career? We've all had those. You're like, oh shit.
I had two, I think. I'll give you one. I think this probably happened a few weeks ago.
You can tell me about them both.
Okay, we had an issue where we got a call, once again, just come with the staff and weapons and stuff are concerned about that.
Person from the outside has brought something
No,
into the
actually,
hospital.
this person was admitted through ambulance bay. Comes in. Person was then, transferred from the emergency room up to a room upstairs. This person is actually having some type of medical situation, whatever going on, whatever. Right. So, as he's having this medical situation, he's still been an ass. He's been an ass to staff. He's causing all kinds of just bullshit going on.
Right.
To the point where medical staff, I think they called us a good 2 or 3 times, over a span of a couple of days. So we had talked to this guy, a couple of times. Right. However, we got a call. This is, I think it's about 1:00 in the morning. The staff member called. Oh, we think he has a gun. We think this person has a gun on him.
Well, there's something.
So I was like, okay. So we go upstairs.
But he's been there for days.
He's been there for days.
Okay.
Not only has he been there for days, he's been transferred from the ER up to, a room upstairs. So there's been enough time.
He's been presumably stripped though, right? No? Or is he allowed to stay in?
Allegedly. One of those things.
Okay. All right.
So once we go upstairs, one of the officers that was with me, she proceeds to go in first, knocks on the door.
Good cop?
Good cop.
Yeah.
Good cop. She knocks on the door.
Not the one I know, is it?
Yeah, the one you know.
Oh, okay. Right.
She's doing her job.
Former student.
Yeah, she's doing her job. So
she's about this tall. Yeah.
Little squeaky voice.
A little squeaky voice. Beat your fucking ass.
Yeah.
Beat your fucking. This time she'll beat your fucking ass. I was scared of her first, and I was the instructor. Got it.
So she proceeds, goes in, or cuts the lights on. Talking to the guy. The guy's sitting up and he's watching Avengers. I don't know why I remember that movie. But he's watching Avengers. We go inside. What caught my eye, number one, is that he didn't have on the hospital gown that they normally put him in. He now has on this just full, Sean John sweatsuit or whatever. Street clothing. Has a jacket on. Had it zipped up. Asked him what's going on. He's like, what do you guys come in my room for? Why you guys harass me? I'm not even doing anything. I'm sitting in my room. Okay. So we start talking to the guy. Or she starts talking to the guy. I'm just kind of standing by, ready.
Do they have a reasonable expectation of privacy when they're in that room? You can enter at any time.
Yes, you can enter at any time.
Can you search the room?
However, you have to have PC.
Okay, all right. So this is kind of like a Carroll Doctrine exception, right? Yes. Okay, all right.
So at this point in time, there's no PC. I did talk to the floor supervisor or floor nursing manager at the time.
Whatever.
Asking this person, did you actually see a gun on this person? No, I just seen a silhouette what looked to be a gun. Where was it at? Oh, it's in the front of his pants. That doesn't give me much, because that's very vague.
It's not good enough.
I can't say just because you seen a silhouette what looked to be a gun in front of his pants, maybe he's just,
Maybe he's got it going on.
Maybe he has it going on,
That's not even sufficient reasonable suspicion for a Terry frisk.
No, not at all. So we're talking to the guy, trying to get him, trying to figure out what's going on.
Feeding him the bullshit, right?
Exactly. Right. We're playing a game.
We're just checking on you because some of the staff were concerned. Right.
Exactly. We're playing the game and all this stuff. I don't have anything on me. The thing that had me worried, though, and I was kind of at it ready because he kept continuing to put his hands in his pocket. I was
just about to say, where were his hands?
His hands were in his pocket. I said, do me a favor, take your hand out your pocket. Take your hands out your pocket.
He would comply, but then go back in.
He would comply, but he would go back in. Right. You know, and then at one point, he took the left hand out, left the left hand out, you know, but he kept the right hand in his pocket. Fuck. So at this point in time, I'm starting to become alarmed. So we probably have a good 4 or 5 of the officers standing outside of the room at this point in time, which in my opinion, that was kind of shitty because they should have been in the room also too. Don't stand. We're all in the room. We're dealing with the person. The doors kind of, the door kind of just eases back and kind of closes on its own. So the door's kind of cracked and they're standing outside of the door, which.
What is the point of standing outside like that?
That's a good question.
Okay.
We had a good conversation after that was over.
Everyone knows the coal wall.
Absolutely.
Let's all get in there and restrain him.
Absolutely.
And I'm sorry, we're going to find this gun. Like, he refused. I mean, now you have reasonable suspicion because you told him to keep showing his hands, and he's refusing
to take his hand out of his pocket.
And now he won't show his right hand. That's reasonable suspicion, at least for a Terry frisk.
Yes.
Okay.
So at this time, I said, okay, do us a favor. Go ahead and stand up. You might as well go ahead and search you. See if you have any weapons for my protection, for your protection. Nope. For what? What do I stand up and what do you search me for? You guys come in here messing with me. My lights are off. I've been here watching a movie. I'm not bothering anybody.
He knows what he's doing.
What do you come here messing with me for? When we tell them, we got a call that apparently there's a gun in the room. Is there a gun in the room? Nope, there's nothing in here. Okay, do me a favor, take your hand out your pocket again. Oh, I don't have to do that. I know my rights. So he's playing the game. Clearly, he's playing the game.
This ain't his first rodeo.
No, absolutely not. So we continue to go on down the line as we're talking to him. The other officer that nameless officer we're talking about, she kind of starts going behind him and she's kind of just looking around the room, and I can tell what she's doing. She's going on the opposite side behind him to see if she can see like the butt of the gun or whatever else.
Something that'll give you
something that will give us something that we can go off and jump on the guy if we have to. So by this time he's just kind of just looking. He stands up. He finally ends up standing up. He's a little taller than me, but I can tell what he's doing. He's sizing me up.
Sure.
And he steps up to me. I don't like the way you're looking at me. I said, you better sit down. I said, I'm going to tell you right now. I said, you better sit down. I said, you can take your hand out your pocket. I don't have to do anything. I got to pee. I said, no, take your hand out your pocket. He runs to the restroom. He ends up running to the restroom inside of the room.
Oh, no.
So at this point, when he goes to the restroom, which that wouldn't have been able to happen if we would have had those other officers present in the room. There's too much space.
Closed door conversation.
Exactly.
We're going to have a closed door conversation.
So, runs to the bathroom. So as he runs to the bathroom, I'm behind him. At this point in time, he's trying to shut the door. Oh, so no. I'm pulling the door.
You got to ask, Brett.
Yeah,
You got to ask, Brett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
stick it in the door.
At this point in time, so there wasn't enough time because he was trying to pull the door open. Right. I'm pulling the door. He's pulling the door. I'm pulling the door. So by this time, other officers come in there. So we're all pulling the door. So finally, I guess he lets go of the door. As he lets go of the door, we see his hand. We see his right hand comes up, and you hear this boom. The gun drops in the trash can.
Holy shit! You almost had a barricaded person.
Person with a weapon,
and then him going like that was the perfect opportunity for him to
come
just
up and draw.
Fuck you, dot.
Yep.
So he drops it. You guys pounce on him.
Go in the room. Once the other officer goes in the bathroom, she says, gun.
Right.
At this point in time,
right.
We're jumping on you at this point in time.
Sure.
So after all that was said and done, your heart is beating 1,000,
oh my God,
beats a minute at this point in time. So it was very, very awakening and a very, what's the word? I don't even have a word for it. It was a close call, Very close call because so many different things could have played out and could have happened.
All of you could have died.
Absolutely.
He could have, when he let go of that door, because we can all picture it in our mind's eye, right? When he went like that,
he could have came up and
you were pulling, so you went, oh shit, you got thrown off a little bit. He could have been like, okay, motherfucker, dot.
Yep.
What's that debrief like?
It was a long debrief,
and
it included. I mean, this. It went all the way up. Yeah, of course.
It has to.
Yeah,
it has to.
Of course, Chiefs get involved.
Yeah.
their thing. Everyone's going to Monday night quarterback it. What you should have done, what you
It sounds to me like you and our friend did the best you could.
Yeah, based on the situation that we had, I was like, man, we can't go in there and just start pouncing on someone and jumping on someone based off of we think it's a silhouette of a gun on the front of his pants. That's not PC, for us to go ahead and do that.
But I do think, and you tell me, Sarge, at the point where he's not taking out his right hand or repeatedly putting his hand in, I think that at that point, that's the reasonable suspicion to at least frisk him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and probably Absolutely. Now he would have resisted that, and you may have ended up in the same motherfucking place. But so you pounce on him, he gets hooked up, and is the only thing you have on him is the UCW or the places weapons prohibited?
No, man. He had TCIC.
He had
TCIC out the ass, wazoo. He's also a gang member.
Great. So you got the the UCW and the UPF.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he had a lot of his rap sheet was long.
Good.
So he had a lot of stuff going for him.
I really want him to have been there for like a goiter, like an ingrown toenail, or something like that. And do you remember what his TCICs were?
A lot of them were tickets. I know one was a parole violation.
Yeah, you don't get a TCIC for a ticket, Sarge.
No, I'm not saying not ticket, but I know one was parole violation.
Right.
I know he had a warrant for his arrest. I want for say domestic violence.
Okay, so Class A, right?
Yeah,
okay,
so
he had
stuff like that.
Okay,
yeah.
Good, yeah.
So,
okay, good collar.
Yeah,
good arrest.
So it was good. It turned out good.
But it could have been.
It could have ended so bad.
So bad.
It could have ended so bad.
But we learned from it.
We learned from our mistakes, and we learned how to approach the situation, I guess, from a different light or different aspect.
Now that we're all having to do active shooter training, and that every officer in Texas has to do it, a hospital is fertile ground for an active shooter. Are you guys getting more tactical?
No.
Why?
No.
Why?
That's a good question. We raise that question all the time. And
who's to blame?
I believe it's more so it goes back to admin, and you ask admin, the problem becomes staffing. And the problem, if we all are going out and participating in this particular, active shooter training and everything else, we don't have the staffing to work your shift, work the hospital, because we're already overworked because we're low on staffing.
How true? So, okay, let's ask first. How true is that? How low are you in staffing?
We're pretty low. We have officers
like everybody else, right?
Everyone's low. We have officers on a regular basis who work
double
70 hours plus a week.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
So you are
so we are extremely low on staffing. So I average about 65 to 70 hours a week.
On a overtime sergeant salary pay at a hospital. Fuck. You're fucking definitely buying dinner. Fucking guy. I paid for this fucking guy's pho the last 2 goddamn times. Now, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
So I got a fucking podcast with 18 subscribers.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So okay. Staffing is low. You as an administrator, there's some legitimacy to that claim.
Sure.
Okay. Here we go. Active shooter. Your officers aren't trained. The guy fucking kills a bunch of people. Now here comes the lawsuit. And I depose your president. I depose your chief. I depose your deputy chief. Why aren't these officers trained in active shooter? Well, and then so, it's the, what is the expression? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Well, and it's not just active shooter. It's situations like this.
Yep.
Why are we all gonna, ass fuck each other stacked up on the door waiting? We need to go in. So tactics is important, more important now more than ever.
Sure. And I believe one of the things I don't like is that we are more so a reactive instead of proactive, environment. We don't necessarily react until something happens. And that goes a lot to allow why certain things have happened, at our facility is because we haven't prepared and trained for it.
Right.
And we just think that, nothing like that will ever happen here until it actually happens. Then everyone's running around trying to figure out, okay, well, what are we going to do?
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to do? So
on the one hand, that is the nature of your particular assignment, hospital. But on the other hand, there's stuff we can do. We can run practices.
Absolutely.
We can have weekly in service,
Yes.
or monthly in service.
Yes.
But that's not done, right?
That's not done.
The people who are coming to you, are they usually cops with experience?
Lately, we've been having a lot of cops. We've been having a lot of retarees coming on. They're double dipping.
Double dipping, right?
They're double dipping. They're getting that pension, and they're getting a lot of different other, 401ks and all that stuff. And
so what I'm hearing is they're hiring. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
All right.
We're hiring. We're hiring.
You've given us so much time today, and I appreciate it. I'd like to close out with your other butt pucker story. Will you tell me?
Yeah, we had an incident where a guy he actually came in from the city municipality.
Mm-hmm.
The municipality brought him in to do a blood draw.
Oh, DW.
He comes probably 3 months later. He comes back to our facility, and he's wanting his chart for his blood draw and his medical records for his blood draw. Staff is telling him that they don't have that here.
Yeah.
If he wants it, he needs to go to request it in medical records. Yeah. He didn't want to do so. He wanted it right then and there. So he's causing a ruckus with staff, spits on one of the staff members, throws a bottle at her, runs out. It just so happened that I'm just not coming on shift. I'm actually coming into the door, and I'm starting to see what's going on. So I don't even have time to put my bag down. So I'm dealing with the situation as I'm coming in, because I'm seeing all this, right in front of me going on. He's outside. Then he parked his car up on the awning of the emergency room, number one, in the wrong direction. Mm-hmm. So the car is still running. So what's
weird.
Going on?
Yeah, that's weird, right?
So all of a sudden, then he runs back to his car, gets in his car, and he takes off. He goes down the street. So I'll put my bag down. I check in the service, call in the service, tell some of the guys what's going on. Say, hey, I'm going to get in the car, just drive around and see if I see this guy, whatever, So
you got a good description of the vehicle.
Oh yeah, got a good description of the vehicle.
You got a plate.
Got a plate, all that stuff. So we roll the cameras back out of plate.
Oh, I was going to say, you have great cameras over there.
Yes,
that's one thing.
That's a plus.
Yeah,
that's a plus that we have there.
We had to use it one time for a particular
situation.
Yeah. Basically, AP walked out who had active warrants, and the hospital was like, "We'll definitely call you when he gets out."
Yeah,
because we were understaffed, and we're like, "Why didn't you call him?" So we charged him with escape. But anyway.
So we're talking to him. I got a few buddies that work for the municipality. I always keep them on the back line. If I need to call them, I can call them. So it just so happened that as I was pulling out, he was pulling in. He sees me. He's of course pulling up just to shoot the crap. I let him know what's going on. He's like, okay, we'll put it out, see if we see him, whatever else. So I literally get behind on the opposite side of the building. One of my officers called, hey, he's back in here. He just threw something at staff, and he pushed one of the staff members. I light my,
right.
Light up. I'm coming around back the corner. As I'm coming around the corner.
Hold on a second. I'm sorry. Did you run code through the parking lot? Did you, Bob? Did you run code through the parking lot? He's not saying anything.
We're not. I wasn't all the way on the parking lot.
No. He gets up to the gate. The ticket agent lights are still going. Thank you so much. So, the arm comes up. Stupid. You ran code through the parking. You ain't never gonna live this one down.
I wasn't all the way in the parking lot. I was on some of the main streets too. So we come around the corner. As we're coming around, we see this guy. I see the guy, physically see the guy. Mm-hmm. Again, he's running back to his car because there was cars in the ER awning where he couldn't pull in like he did. Mm-hmm. So he's running back to his car where it's still parked. Mm-hmm. So as he's parked, he gets in his car, tries to pull out. I'm behind him, trying to stop him. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to initiate a traffic stop at this point in time. So he refuses to stop. He turns back around. He tries to come back under the ER awning. One of my other officers, he pulls his truck, which we had to talk about that too, because using your vehicle as a we're not gonna talk about that.
As a battering ram.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So, but what he ended up doing when my other officer pulled in, I guess trying to block him in, he hits my other officer's car head on.
Okay.
Hits him head on.
Oh, your officer tried to use it like a fucking blockade?
Yes, for that guy.
Like did like a Dirty Harry chicken thing? Yeah. Like
Dukes of Hazzard type. Yeah.
Dog.
Yeah, we had to talk about that too.
We're gonna close 2 doors. That's gonna be behind 2 closed doors. Come into this one and then close that one motherfucking one.
So he ends up hitting the other car. Mm-hmm. Once he hits the other car, he bounces off the car. He ends up hitting the building.
Oh no!
So
what a cluster!
He hits the building.
Now there's damage to the structure.
There's damage to the structure of the building. So all this is going on. Then he gets out and he takes off running. So I get out, And
now you're super fast.
Oh yeah, I'm super fast. I'm like the Flash.
A Polaroid flash.
Kodak camera.
Yeah. Hold on a second. He's winding up the camera. Yeah. All right. So you got to do what you got to do.
So we got to do what we got to do, man. So we get out the car. As I'm getting out the car, because it caught me by surprise. I'm thinking the guy, okay, maybe this guy's hurt because you deployed all your airbags in your car.
Oh man, yeah.
So you've number one, you hit a car.
Hard crash.
You hit a car, then you just hit bricks of the building. So half your front hood is in the fucking building at this point in time.
Right.
So you get out, you take off running. I get out. As I get out, I trip on something. I don't know what it was. So I end up scabbing my whole arm, as I get out. So I'm pissed off about that too. So
poor baby. If only there was a hospital nearby.
Right?
You got to go back to that same asshole doctor. Hey, doc.
So get out. We end up catching the guy, almost on the opposite side of the building.
Right.
So we end up catching the guy, bring him back in. He's a dipshit. He's
right,
like,
sure.
I need some water. You guys are going to give me water. And
after all the bullshit.
Drink your spit.
Yeah, after all the bullshit you just put us through.
I fall and I don't run and I don't chase guys. No. But
Bob, you can just tell me you didn't want to chase the guy. Guys, 3:57. I'm out. Start EMS. Yeah. All right. So what's his deal?
So go in there. We have to, of course, get him medically clear.
Sure.
He's been involved in an accident and all that.
I guess technically, right?
Yeah.
Did you charge him with collision involving damage to vehicle? FLID. Did you?
We did.
Yeah. That's a patented ass move.
Yeah. So hey, we're cops. Still
I love petty. I fucking love petty cops. You gonna make us run? You gonna make me scuff up? You gonna scuff up my fucking shit?
Yeah.
You gonna learn? Yeah. And what's his deal? Like, why?
So
what's going on?
I haven't. We still don't know to this day exactly what was his deal. He just said that he wanted to. He was looking for the nurse.
His medical records.
His medical records. Of course, he had some mental illness going on as well.
Sure.
So he said, "I want to find the cop, the nurse who drew my blood."
Right.
That's what he was looking for initially. That's why he wanted his paperwork, because he wanted to find out the nurse's name.
And I'm sure he just wanted to talk.
So yeah.
This guy was fucked. Yeah. Right. This guy was off the wall.
Yes.
So what do we get? We get the felony evading.
So
the vehicle.
Using your vehicle for a weapon.
Ag assault.
Good.
Good.
We got that on him too.
Oh, good. Fuck this guy. And the Class A for the collision involving damage to vehicle.
Saying, we're gonna stack the charges at this point in time.
Oh my man, I charged this guy one time with like 7 felonies, and I wrote him summonses for headlight, for no tail lamp. I'm a fuck. You won't find a more petty person than I am.
So absolutely. So it was quite interesting.
That's fun. That's
quite interesting.
This is why we do the job.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for listening, subscribing, and sharing. Please rate and review the show and follow us on all platforms. You can hear us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Our website is nfipodcast.com, YouTube at NFI Podcast, and please reach out to us at podcast@nfipodcast.com. New episodes released weekly or whenever I feel like it. Help us spread the show. Tell us what you think and put a buddy on. I'll see you out there. Stay safe and remember, do your job.